I chose to look at the impacts of a nation's average sugar intake per person. Initially, a correlation that I needed to make in regard to the sugar intake of a country's population is the manner by which it causes elevated cholesterol levels, particularly in men, and therefore undesirable body mass index or BMI levels. This is especially clear for Germany and the United States as observed here. Essentially, this reveals to us that a nation's average sugar intake can be attached to their total health spending per person. Since there was not a lot of information accessible concerning the relationship between sugar intake and total health spending, I chose to look at total health spending in relation to the average BMI of a country, which has a strong positive correlation with sugar intake since sugar adds a lot of calories with a minimal amount of nourishment. In respects to this, there is a positive correlation between BMI and all total health spending, demonstrating that as a country's average BMI increases to unhealthy levels, more money is put towards health spending in order to drive that down. What was intriguing was that this is mostly evident in developed countries, for the most part in North America and in Europe, as they both attempt to bring issues to light for obesity in a way that many underdeveloped countries don't have the superfluous wealth to use for that reason. In developed countries, total health spending expanded a lot in the mid-2000s as the obesity issue came to the front line of society despite the fact that BMI was not increasing at an especially large rate than it had been for the 10 earlier years. But as we learned in class, higher GDP is still positively correlated to longer life expectancy. If I change this graph to feature the lower income nations, it is evident that lower income countries not just spend less on healthcare, but also have average life expectancies as low as 52, even in 2010. Regardless of anything else, the more higher income nations will, in general, have the health care assets to battle unhealthy diets, and unhealthy diets are just one of numerous different health factors that affect life expectancy. I understand through further research on Gapminder that there's a strong negative correlation between child mortality rates and life expectancy, which essentially shows that health factors that cause lower life expectancies have the biggest effect on kids under 5 years of age. In light of this, health spending should be pointed mostly at helping young children, particularly in poor nations.